Well, hello, EKN Nation. How are you today? Rob Howden here. Hope things are well with you. It is Thursday, March the 4th, and coming up to a new season, obviously, of a lot of the club racing getting rolling, but more events coming up nationally as well. Speaking of course, the United States Pro Kart Series kicking things off in just over a week's time at Ocala. The numbers that we're hearing coming out of the USPKS, crazy big. Over 250 pre-entries. I just heard potentially 265 pre-entries going into the event. We'd love to get some information on that. But today's face-to-face is going to be with a gentleman who is a key component of the sport and has really been kind of growing the program over the last couple of years as well. I'm talking about Shawn Bayliff from the Trinity Karting Group. And Shawn and his program, of course, growing as a national team, regional team, but they also took a bigger ownership, or at least took an ownership position at the Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati. And that's one of the big programs as well. It was a member-only club. They bought it. They've made it now into a public track where they've got Pro-Am series. They've got obviously coaching. Trinity Karting Group is based out of that program as well. They're bringing in a couple of different series. The Stars Championship is going to be there. The Margay Ignite Challenge is going to make a stop there as well. So a really good interview here. Let's bring him in right now because this will be good. Shawn Bayliff for joining me from MCC. Thank you so much, my friend.
Hey, Rob. Thanks for having me on again.
I've been following you on social media, and it's you've got a lot of snow in the last little while there.
Well, I'm looking out the window at the track right now, and it is gorgeous. It's only about 50, but there's no snow on the ground. A few piles from the Bobcat pushing it all around. But yeah, we're getting ready to start cranking a bunch of the projects up here to get this place rolling here at our opening day, April 1st.
Now, April 1st is what you're looking at?
Yep.
It's weird to me. The minute we kind of rolled past into March, I don't know if you were the same way. All of a sudden, I walked outside up here in Canada, and it was a nicer day. I think it was in the mid-40s or something, the warmest day we've had. And I kind of caught me off guard, like, man, winter's almost done. I've been locked at home for so long. I forgot the fact that I was thinking about trying to go skiing, and we're almost in the middle of March. It's really going to start getting warmer, man. We're club racing just around the corner.
Yeah, no doubt. I think we have our test and tune April 3rd. And then, we'll be at it, and it's flat out right now for us getting ready. And then plus all the projects taking on this racetrack, and, it's a kind of dual role here. It's definitely keeping us busy.
Let's start out with the chaos of the shop, because I know that you guys are working hard. The USPKS race, you probably heard me in the intro there. It is going to be big. Over 260-something pre-entries. This race obviously blowing the records in terms of how many guys they've had. The KA class is going to be massive. I know that you guys have been developing for the last couple of years. We've got a chance to watch you on the SCUSA Pro Tour, how you had a smaller team, and then you kind of grew that to a bigger team. How many guys do you have going to USPKS? And I know you have some star power. You got some big guys coming to the 10th this year. How many karts in total, drivers, will you have at USPKS?
Yeah, for sure. We're definitely excited about it. We're taking 16 karts to Ocala, wow. And then I think the remainder of the series, some of the other ones, we're going to be up over the 20 number to be running the rest of the USPKS stuff there, and then NOLA's coming up too.
No kidding. Obviously, some cool news. You for the last 4 years have had a lot of drivers, of course, both of your boys, but guys that have run at the Motorsports Country Club. You've always had some Masters drivers you've brought to some events. You guys have been kind of stepping things up, though, and the results are coming. You're running more to the front of the grid, and the way you run the program, I think everybody knows that. You have the reputation for running a professional program. You've been in the sport for so long, so there's no lack of knowledge at all. But you signed a couple of pretty impressive drivers to run with you guys in your colors, TKG colors in 2021, in Jace Park and Luca Mars. Those are a couple of guys that that every time they roll onto the track, you're going for race wins.
Yeah, it's fantastic. When Dan Schlosser gave me a phone call here this winter and said, hey, we'd like to discuss Luca coming over. And I think it was like the day you announced he was #1 driver. It's like, okay, here we go. We can, maybe put ourselves a little bit better on the map. And then having Jace Park come jumping in board, that kid's got a huge amount of talent. I believe he's won some of that SCUSA stuff, and that's been a dream of ours. He's kicking it up pretty good on the dirt too.
He is, right?
So it's pretty exciting. That's part of my love too. I did quite a bit of dirt racing back in the day. So
yeah, I've seen some photos on Facebook drop with you driving a sprint car.
Yeah, I drove a sprint car for about 3 years. So
wow.
that photographer from back in the day, he's been posting some stuff up, and it's been bringing a lot of memories. And
I bet
some of them I forgot. That one with we were running the World Outlaw show with there at Eldora, and you see Sammy Swindell, and right below it's a picture of me too. So it's pretty cool. Sprint cars were a lot of fun, but I made my living road racing and sports cars and karting. So I did both though in karting. And you could run on dirt on Saturday night and then wash the thing off and go road racing the next day. It's become so specialized in dirt, so we kind of stay away from it a little bit. Although we'll get into the news of the place here, but there may be a dirt track running around here.
Ooh, I like the sound of that.
Sooner than later.
Let's go deeper into Team TKG. You said 16 drivers potentially coming with you to USPKS. I know that you like to have that whole cross section, right? You like to be able to work with the young drivers in the cadet categories, kind of work their way through. Can you give me some of the other names of guys that you're going to have with you as part of Team TKG?
Yeah, so we're excited to have Colin Neal as well. He's bringing in some good talent. Him and his dad work well together. And then Finn's going to be running in the X30 category. So we got pretty powerhouse there in the 4 drivers in the X30 Pro stuff. Dan Schlosser, we're going about it a little bit different. So not only we got some huge talent in as drivers, but we also have Dan Schlosser is going to be heading up our X30 Pro category. Yep. And then we're going to have some we've got Chris Lowball over top of our KA senior program.
Okay.
Tony Tesoro, used to run CRG's program, and I think he was with Brent Cruz last year. He's going to be overseeing both Jace in his KA and his X30. So Jace is double duty in it. I think I'm taking 7 KA seniors.
Wow.
So Gavin's going to be helping lead our KA program, which we've got some young talent in there, but not a lot of experience. So I pulled Gavin out of the X30 category and moved him down to the down or over, however you want to say it, with 60 go-karts right now if USPKS entered that, so we got some good talent there. So we'll be able to pull knowledge from that. Junior program's a little smaller this year. Our mini and micro is not happening for some reason. I'd like to grow that program a lot, but we've got in our K senior, we got Logan Mueller's returning. Thad Lida came to the team this year as well. So he did pretty well in the Route 66 driving for Jamie, but they moved just south of here into Kentucky. So they called us up. So we're excited about that. Then we got Nikita Ponras and, Jonah Hanrahan, they're kind of going in their sophomore season, so we look for them to be picking it up some. Mateo Narano is going to be running our X30 junior or KA junior, and then little Ryan Miller. It's not so little anymore. He graduated up at the end of the last year and is into the KA junior. So we're looking at that, and then we got our big kids. We got 3 masters going. Paul Micey, Greg Leahy, Greg Leahy's been a long-time member here since I think the inception of the facility. So
wow, okay,
he's picking it up to do the USPKS, and then we got a newcomer, young Gordon Cameron. He's going to be in one of our masters as well. So we got 3 good master drivers. So good. Yeah, so I think there's 25 masters, so that's going to be pretty fun for them there too. So I've been watching that. But my partner Greg, he has a 8-year-old son that was going to be gone, but we're building a new building out here, and he needs to be on site to be doing some dirt work for us. So he pulled out. So otherwise we would have had it. But yeah, our next goal is to start them a little bit younger and getting them, in the micro and mini and graduating them up. That Evagora Papasavas, he moved on to, I think he's going to be doing F4 now in the young age of 13. That's kind of crazy, but yeah. But yeah, so we're really excited about our USPKS, and then SCUSA, that's looking good too. We're taking the most we ever had to SCUSA too. So I think I've got 10 carts going to NOLA.
We pause our face-to-face broadcast for this quick commercial break. Stay tuned for more here on the EKN Radio Network. The World Karting Association is the only organization on the globe that can provide you with 3 forms of karting, all at one event. Our historic WKA Daytona Kart Week was completed just before the new year began, welcoming record numbers. If you missed out, or if you're excited for the same atmosphere and competition, then add the Charlotte Karting Challenge presented by Summit Racing Equipment to your 2021 racing schedule. All three of the national championship programs will be competing at the Charlotte Motor Speedway on April 15th and the 18th in Concord, North Carolina. The Vega Manufacturers Cup Series is hosting 3 straight days of racing inside the famed Charlotte Oval. Our Vega Road Racing Series will tackle the complete Roval portion of the facility, while the Maxxis Speedway Dirt Series will take to the dirt track at Charlotte in a special 2-day event. No matter your age, no matter the discipline, the WKA Charlotte Karting Challenge has a place for you to compete at America's home for racing. Learn more about all 3 programs at worldkarting.com. The World Karting Association, the foundation of motorsports. All over the karting world, everyone knows OTK is the gold standard for quality and performance. In the US, OTK USA is the source for all things OTK. From the legendary Tony Kart brand to the race-winning Cosmic and Esprit chassis, and now the new Red Speed and EOS brands, OTK quality is second to none. All 5 brands are winning races and championships across the country in national programs like the Ruck Cup USA Florida Winter Tour and the Challenge of the Americas, the SCUSA Pro Tour and Winter Series, and the Pro Kart Challenge, United States Pro Kart Series, and the WKA Manufacturers Cup. And OTK products are also front and center on the podium of club and regional races from coast to coast. To learn more about a specific product line, you can find the OTK USA dealer near you, whether it's Tony Kart, Cosmic, Esprit, Red Speed, or EOS. Visit www.otkusa.com. Specific chassis territories are still available, so kart shops interested in adding a winning component to their product lineups can contact OTK USA directly. The Briggs & Stratton 206 engine is where out-of-the-box ease and outstanding consistency meet to create legendary races. Briggs & Stratton's history of motorsports dates back to when the first engines came off the assembly line in the early 1900s. Their focus on the grassroots level continues to help build generations of racers. Since 2008, the Briggs & Stratton 206 has gained a following that has the engine powering the largest fields in North American karting today. From the club level and track programs to traveling regional series and national events, Briggs & Stratton competition provides the most exciting racing in the sport. Engineered and hand-built exclusively for racing, every Briggs & Stratton 206 engine is power tested and serialized before it goes in the box. Karters can take that engine straight from the box to their kart and be on the podium at the end of race day. Be sure to follow Briggs & Stratton Racing on Facebook and through @RaceBriggs on Instagram. To learn more about the 206 engine or to find the North American dealer near you, head to BriggsRacing.com. Briggs & Stratton Racing, what powers you? Welcome back to Face2Face on the EKN Radio Network. Well, I think let's come back a little bit and talk more about the overall plans for 2021 for you guys, because I think an interesting thing right now is let's kind of jump into the Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati. You know, you were kind of the caretaker, the club pro, if you will, when it was a member-owned program. You end up with a partner actually purchasing the track itself. You guys have already done some expansion. We'll talk about that too. But you launched the Pro-Am last year, and I want to kind of make the tie-in of the Pro-Am series that you had, kind of the only, series very close to Cincinnati, as you said. Is that a series that you can identify some of the drivers? They're running locally now with you at the track, but man, as they start to pick up speed, they're thinking about trying to get challenged elsewhere. You'll see those guys potentially with you on Team TKG.
Yeah.
Especially the cadet level, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Our cadet level's definitely growing there. Like Gage Harden came out and ran quite a bit for us. And then Quinn boys and girls, daughter and son, Graham's a engineer over at Andretti. He brings his kids over. So, we run the show. It's a Saturday show. We kind of have the belief that you don't have to burn up your whole weekend to go racing. So we operate it, on basically the same schedule as what USPKS or SCUSA does. So we're very prompt on time. So our practice starts at 9, and I don't think we finished a race later than 4:30 last year on Saturday. And then we're doing a beer garden and food trucks at the end of it and having a good time afterwards.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. We added some categories this year. We added, I think it's going to end up turning out to be pretty cool. We added we tried to have the shifter category last year, but those guys don't seem to, they claim they're coming, and I'm a shifter guy too. But they never showed up.
They never show up.
They don't. It's frustrating because we're trying to build that, and then they don't show up. But
I was complaining and say, hey, if you have the class, well, I'll have 10 guys there.
Right, right. And it never happens. Right. So we added a run what you brung class, and some of the calls I'm getting it's going to be pretty interesting on.
Really?
Oh yeah. So we got all kinds of stuff talking about coming, but really what I wanted to do there was give our members that don't fit into our IAME race categories somewhere to run. So we'll have rocks, we'll have some shifters. Some guy said he's bringing a 350 shifter card out, and we've got, I've got one of those X2 Margay things that, we'll probably, the twins.
Like
it's sitting there with all these X30s that are available right now. It's calling my name out to put a couple X30s on it and run it in that. But
now we're talking.
Yeah.
That's your old mindset right there. That's what that is.
Yeah. Talk about it. Have the duels going, and
give me the whole class structure for those who don't know about the Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati and the Pro-Am series that you've put together. What is the class structure that you guys run?
So we follow the basically USPKS and more kind of on the Route 66 as well. But we have mini, micro, K, junior, senior, and masters. And then we have the X30 Pro and then X30 Masters. Then we have a CIK LO206 Senior and Masters. And then we run the Ignite program as well. So we added, we have Junior, Senior, and then we had Masters last year, but the weights are too close. So we went with a heavy instead for that.
Okay.
So that's our class structure. Some of them are grouped together, but as they grow, we'll separate them. But
how was the initial year? For
it was good. I think the last race we had 70 entries.
Nice.
We paid $500 to win on the K Pro or K Senior class and the LO206 Senior. And talk about a fantastic race. I mean, that was some of the best racing I've seen. And it was down to whoever won between Nikita and Logan. Whoever beat who was the champion. And then I think Hunter Perry ended up winning the class and taking home the $500,
nice.
As I recall. But yeah, it was a pretty good one.
And I got to think as a new program like that, of course, you guys just taking over the track and becoming more of a public track where you can come and race. That's the kind of thing you're going to expect to grow year on year, right?
Yeah. Well, we have to come up. We got to get over the misconception of two things that everyone thinks three things. Everyone thinks we charge $100,000 to be on our team, which is not true. We might look like we should charge it. I'd love to.
You always look fantastic.
Our team doesn't cost that much, but then they also have to come over the misconception that, it doesn't cost that much to be a member out here. But now we're getting into the point to where we can open up more of the public. We're going to have more test days open and stuff, but we still want to have the privacy of it, or more the exclusivity of what a membership offers to be out here at MCC. Yeah,
and all the stuff's still there, like the locker room and all that. It's an unbelievable facility, right?
Yeah, so it's going to be a little more to the people that want to be taken care of, but we're also going to be opening up more of the club. We're putting a new 50 by 100 building with new bathrooms and showers and stuff, and that'll be more centrally located to the grid. Okay. And then the clubhouse itself will be a little more exclusive and little, just kind of like what clubs do. And,
I like that.
If you want to be part of it, but we also want to attract the regular racer that doesn't need all that wants to park their trailer out here. We're going to put garages in, and you can rent a garage similar to what GoPro and what Dismore does over at Newcastle. So we're going to have kind of a mix of it. But if you want the exclusivity and the private coaching and that, you can be a member. But and the other thing is just letting people know we exist.
That's what we're here for. That's right. Yeah.
I think every day I get someone that says, "Well, I didn't know this place was out here. We get a delivery driver out here, and it's like, what is this place? So, getting over that, that's going to help quite a bit. So definitely, the closest series I think is OVK that runs over at Camden, and they travel a little bit. In fact, they're going to be coming here at the end of October to finalize their schedule. So they'll be coming. So that'll help. But yeah,
let's talk about that. Let's talk about all the series actually you have coming. This not only do you have your own Pro-Am series, but there's a couple other series that are coming to use the track as part of their schedule.
Yeah, so the Pro-Am, I think we got seven events and we've got one drop, so that takes up quite a few of the weekends. But the first traveling series coming in is I think it's I don't realize this is a team owner now or a track owner now. You got to deal with all these series and your scheduling and just being a race team.
A little easier to pick and choose, right?
Well, it leaves you, and that's some of the other struggles we have is running a team and a track as well. But USPKS is coming here with their KLO206 Nationals. That'll be in June. The Ignite Challenge race, Margay and Keith are doing a fantastic job with that, and they selected us as one of their tracks for their challenge program. Talk about a neat way to get into karting cheap. It's really cool.
I'm a huge fan of that program. Huge fan.
Oh, it is. It's so it's kind of testament to with how well Luca and Gavin did down at Daytona with it. We won both days, but Luca decided, and I see Luca walking down with the go-kart, and I smack my head and think, oh, here we go.
What's happening?
Well, he said, they said all we got to do is build the kart, and in my brain, it's putting together a Tony kart, but those go-karts from Ignite, they come almost ready to go. You got to put a seat in them, and when they come in a box, the engine's sitting there on them, so you don't have to do anything. I was thinking that Dan and I were going to have to spend all night getting this same built, and I'm not like that. I don't show up the track and build go-karts.
No, I know you. I know that. I know
that bugs me. In fact,
your OCD probably went into overtime.
I'm kind of bad about that, but. So we have them coming. The Stars Championship will be here as well. Yep. OVK, and then we're it keeps us pretty busy here and fills up a lot of weekends. So
hey, for people, Shawn, that don't know what you've done to the track itself, let's talk about that. The upgrades you've made to the facility. Have you done the extension already, or is that coming?
If this place would ever dry out, we would start getting the base down. So we have all the stone here to get the expansion done in the base. So. It needs to happen sooner because I sit down behind my computer in the CAD and I start thinking of other ideas.
You start changing it.
So we closed on the place. I think we officially took ownership May 22nd last year. So right in the middle of this whole pandemic.
Yeah.
What a terrible time to be doing that. But so we had purchased 26 acres next door to us. We've got 3 of the 5 planned parking loops in or paddock loops in. So each one of those loops hold 40 10 by 40 spaces, and then they have a real nice concrete drive around each one of them. So we were able to get 2 more of those in, and we'll probably get the remaining 2 in here this spring anyways, sometime soon. Then we put a side-by-side track in. We're still cutting that in. I've been playing with that quite a bit. So that track's going to be pretty fun. Yeah. But then I got the idea. I saw a nice little space where we're going to put an 8th mile high bank dirt track in.
I love it. That's awesome.
We're probably going to run those 500 outlaw carts on it, which I don't know if you've seen those out at Red Bluff or anything.
Oh, no. I'm all about the QRC.
I saw those QRC things go around. I said, that is all about me right there. So we're probably going to do that. And we're going to build it in a sense to where we could, host some of these 600 minis or something like that. But it's going to be neat because it's going to be, when you look out to the expansion of the road course, all you'll see is just a 2-foot wall and a fence up. Most of it's going to be below the sight line, so we're not affecting the kart sight line because that's our primary. But we're going to probably take the track from it's right now 7/10. It'll probably go up to about 1.1 mile. Take it from a tags like I guess our tags here are right around 42.9 for a good X30 lap. So we'd like to get it up in that, just right at that minute mark for a good lap.
That's amazing. And for Ohio karting too, man, to be able to have you guys there and taking your program and your facility to the next level, that's just what a jewel it's going to be for that area.
Yeah, and you speak of Ohio, Scott Benson's doing such an awesome job with that Buckeye Karting Challenge, and he's going to round out his season here in October as well. So, so we're super excited. But right now, the current plan, just depending, COVID was really rough on us, just because we lost all of our corporate events last year, and that's why I say last year was kind of tough. Buying a racetrack during COVID, so we lost most of our corporate events. Eric Jones worked well with us at GoPro. We bought 21 of his old CRGs. I shouldn't say old. They were only 2 years old. So we're going to be opening up a little bit more to the public from a rental side, similar to what they do. I think we're going to have a Tuesday night rental kart league.
Well, I like that.
And we're actually discussing adding our rental kart program to our actual Pro-Am. So we think we may do that. Yeah, we kind of like it because then it gives people the actual feel of what a race is like without having to invest.
And they get to see the competition carts.
Yes. Right? So we think
idea.
So we think that'll snowball into something. So what we may even do is our champion of our Tuesday night racing league, we may put them, part of the championship would be they get a run Ignite in our finale or something.
Perfect.
So
great transition.
We're just really trying to promote it, but
Hey, Shawn, we got a shout out here from our buddy at Racing for Vets.
Oh yeah, Rainer does a good job with that for sure.
And hold on.
Hey, look at that!
Baby.
Yeah,
just happen to have it on. Good people at Racing for Vets. I know that you work with them as well, right?
Yeah, we do. We build their K engines for them. We've helped them get some Margate carts that we're hanging around here, and got a few of these guys to donate their carts to them. And we just try and help them as much as they can.
Amazing.
It's a
great program.
Awesome organization for sure.
So let's go back to your racing program. Obviously, the stuff that you got going at the track is huge. Again, for Ohio, like you said, Buckeye Karting Challenge coming in. Like you said, Scott Benson, those guys have done an amazing job with that program. It's absolutely fantastic. For you guys, let's go back to the team again. You do everything you do at the racetrack, but so we're doing USPKS, we're doing the Superkarts USA Pro Tour. We're going to head out to Super Nationals in November.
Oh yeah, I'm not missing that.
Oh yeah,
I didn't know what to do in November.
I know. Don't even start with me. I've been there for 22 years now. Listen, we talked about you potentially racing the Super Nats in Masters. Where's that?
I might have a shifter sitting around here getting prepped, but it won't be this year.
Won't be this year.
I'm working on getting back in shape.
Attaboy. That's attaboy.
So one of our good race team members, he's Safet Haddock, and his son race with us. He's looking at potentially wanting to bang gears, so as a master. So he's convinced me to do that, and I'm going to coach him this year. But I'm getting the itch. My problem, and I've told you this before, is I get a little too serious, and I jokingly say to my boys that I'll start racing when I'm 70, and then they can take care of my stuff. But,
they can do everything else.
Finn and Gavin, they're so instrumental in helping us run this place too. So that they're kind of different in racing. That they don't get a mechanic on the race weekends. They're doing their own stuff.
Yeah.
They're kind of like the shoemaker kids. Shoemakers kids don't have shoes. So they get neglected a little bit. But what it's doing in the end is helping them really learn how to do this business and how to tune their own cart and get it. So selfishly, I'd like to put Tony or Dan just with them and let them go out and run.
I understand that.
In the long run, they're going to be better for it. But they're just hugely instrumental. And it's truly a family program, from Michelle doing all the hospitality and logistics, and Finn does a lot with our decal program and then coaching and stuff outside. But then Gavin at 16, he builds most of our carts. And talk about OCD, he's worse than me.
That's awesome, though. I think that's the fact that it's an entire Bayliff family program, I think is amazing. We pause our face-to-face broadcast for this quick commercial break. Stay tuned for more here on the EKN Radio Network. Everyone knows that Texas develops winning racers, and the Texas Sprint Racing Series is excited to start the 2021 season to get back to cultivating this talent. The first combined SCUSA and IKF series has been running since 2015 and was started as a grassroots effort to bring family racing back to Texas, has exploded into the largest regional series in the southern region. With 13 classes, including kid karts, and over $50,000 in prizes featuring Supernats and IKF Grand Nationals tickets, there is no better place to come race than the Texas Sprint Racing Series. This year's lineup starts with the winter warm-up at NOLA Motorsports on March 19th to the 21st. The second round, the spring roundup at NTK, will take place on April 16, 17, and 18. Next up will be the summer shootout at Speed Sports on June 11th, 12th, and 13th. And the fourth event is our midsummer mashup at the brand new Kart Moto facility in Crescent on July 23rd to 25th. Our fall finale brings us to another new for us track at Amarillo Kart Circuit on September 10 to 12. As always, our end of the year banquet dinner and raffle will be held on Saturday night of our final event in Amarillo with a free meal and lots of incredible prizes. We hope to see you join the TSRS family. For more information, head to TexasSprintSeries.com.
Are you ready to make the jump from karting to race cars? Then check out the top-rated Allenberg Racing Schools at WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca in Monterey, California, led by former Formula One World Championship driver Alan Berg. Whether you're starting a racing career, looking for a new adventure, honing your driving skills, or seeking an unforgettable experience driving the world-famous corkscrew, our team of professional coaches and proven curriculum will provide you with everything you need to drive our race cars to the limit. Programs in 2021 include 1-day, 2-day, and 3-day schools. Successful graduates earn their certification to apply for a SCCA racing license. For schedules and more information, check out our website, allenbergracingsschools.com, or call us at 888-722-3220. Custom group and corporate programs also available.
A series built by racers for racers. Stars Championship Series. If you're looking for big grids without the stress and anxiety of a national event, then look no further than the Stars Championship Series. Our events are centered around our fun and family-friendly atmosphere, and this season we'll be visiting some of the East Coast's finest karting facilities. We've got 4 stops on the tour in 2021, with opening weekend set to take place at GoPro Motorplex on April 9th to the 11th. From there, we'll head to Newcastle Motorsports Park in June, the Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati in July, and then to Pittsburgh International Race Complex to close out the championship in October. While April may seem far away, our season is already underway with our esports division presented by Extreme Sim Racing. You can get your weekly racing fix in our GT or open wheel divisions on every Tuesday or Wednesday by competing against karters across the country for some stellar prize packages, all for free. For more information on how to get on track in the virtual or the real world, check us out online at starschampionshipseries.com.
We pause our face-to-face broadcast for this quick commercial break. Stay tuned for more here on the EKN Radio Network.
It is, and then my partner Greg and Emily Heeman, and they're out here doing all the construction. Someone told him, he said he was at a dirt track watching, and he said if the owner of the track came up to him and said, I saw he had a Motorsports Country Club sweatshirt on. The guy said, you know how to be successful in racing and running a racetrack. He said you got to have a guy that knows what's going on in racing, and he said the second thing you need to have is someone that knows construction and excavating. Well, Greg's specialty is he's got a big industrial plumbing company. Okay. And he does a lot of excavating and stuff. So we've become best friends, and we're really doing a lot out here. He's crazier than me, I think, as far as the vision of what we want to do out here. And
I got to get down there now. I got to see this place.
Oh yeah, it's we want it to be one of the best tracks in the country. We want to rival all of them, and hopefully attract the biggest races. And we're bending on Coach's ear about getting a USPKS date here in 2022, and we want to do that hopefully. But the one struggle we have is running the Trinity team TKG and then owning the racetrack. A lot of our customers say, well, you want to be running everywhere. I admire Rollison and Mike Doty and those guys because they're able to be at the racetrack. They're at the Winter Series, and then they're running the Rock Cup, and then they're down doing that. I have to be aware that we have a racetrack here and we got to be here, so we can't do all those events. I guess we could, but right now we're just not in the position. I'm not comfortable enough to just say, hey, take everything and I'll be home. I'm not in that mindset yet, but we'd love to do all.
When would you ever be able to do that? Do you think you could? Your boys are getting to the age pretty soon. They're going to be able to run it themselves at one point.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. It's to really grow, you do need to learn how to let go of things, and so maybe eventually we'll get to that point. I'm just not at that point right now. Although we got some fantastic guys that we're grooming right now in the engine shop and kart shop.
Back home.
Home here.
Yeah.
And then, you get a relationship with Dan and Tony and, these guys that you trust at the track. And although I will say the person that probably can't miss it is Michelle, because I swear most of the guys race. And I know our Masters, the only reason they race is for food. And Brett Mars was saying, Brett Mars and Jason Park were saying, that's why we came, just for her food.
I'll tell you this right now. I stopped by for some food at the Brickyard, that event, and then I walked into the trailer and saw the preset for the margaritas for that night. I'm racing with TKG at least one time this year or next year.
We enjoy our margaritas on Saturday night or whatever. We try and at least hit one of the Mexican restaurants on the trip. But hey, I think she's got some big plans for some bangers and mash and the green color and green beer for St. Patrick's. St. Patrick's Day is coming up. I think when we're down at Ocala. You
guys just do it so well. I love. I guess it's probably from your experience coming up through the ranks. But Michelle was in hospitality in pro racing days as well, was she not?
She was. She helped run the G&W Motorsports, and then Price Cobb's IndyCar program, who I was driving for. Fortunately, we were able to work together when I was driving, and she was running the hospitality stuff. Finnegan was in a backpack on her back while she was running around doing stuff. I won the 6 hours of Watkins Glen, and she ran over and threw them up to me, and then she took off, and I'm doing interviews with Finnegan in my hand, and she's off taking care of drivers and making sure they're handled good.
That's amazing. I love it.
But she definitely does good.
So, hey, listen, I just love the way things are going. That's why I wanted to get you on here at the start of the season, because again, for me, it's been fun to watch what you guys have done, what you guys have built over the last couple of years, right? You talk about the fact that some people maybe don't know enough about Team TKG or Trinity Karting Group. They need to make a phone call, because, like you said, it looks like you guys are super expensive, but you're saying the way you guys do your program is affordable for people to go racing. You've got the right people coming. You can see that you've got some good drivers coming as well, plus the country club program. If somebody does want to get a hold of you, Shawn, what's the best way to reach you for the team and then for the country club as well?
Yeah, I suppose, just throw us a message on our Facebook site, Trinity Karting or Instagram, or just send me an email at sbayliff@trinitykartinggroup.com, and we'll try and take care of you. But I think there's a link on the eKarting News.
There is. Yeah, it's on there
page
too.
There too. Yep. So we're super excited about the driver lineup we got and heading into it, and then just grooming some of these new drivers. It's going to be an eye opener for a couple of them. This Nikolai Dukov's coming in, and he's new to the national scene. It's going to be his first national race at Ocala, and
the biggest USPKS race ever.
Yeah. I think that was like 220 was last year at GoPro.
Wow.
And so we want to say we do it right. Louise and Fernanda, and right now with all this COVID and the struggles of getting parts and stuff, they're at Tony Kart. They've been fantastic to work with and trying to get it through. I know it's a struggle for them because they got containers sitting out in the ocean coming, and I know there's all kinds of parts. I saw a semi just pull in, and hopefully it's a few of our carts that we're waiting for, because we're still waiting on parts and pieces. And
wow, okay.
Eric Jones is waiting on engines, and the supply chain from Italy has just been disturbed so much.
Yeah.
It's a struggle, but it's really exciting. for what we have going on and the racing out here. Our racing's fantastic. That IAME program's great. The MG tires. Keith's doing such a good job with his Ignite program.
Yeah.
What you think of him announcing he's, with your tie to the
I've known that
Road
for a
to
long
Indy?
time. The Road to Indy stuff with Ignite Autosport running with Cape Motorsports and a couple of young guys, obviously, that have been big Margay racers, Spike Kolbecker and Evan Stammer. I've known about it for a while. I've kind of been holding back on it, but I think it's super cool. It's a great deal.
Yeah, it's neat. It's the graduation up to the next rank's pretty cool, and I admire what you get to do with seeing the young drivers in karts and then getting to see them graduate. It's pretty cool, and I'm anxious to see. Sam Paley did well. He's one of our graduates. He did well down at Daytona in the Global Cup stuff, and
MX5,
Luca was doing pretty well down there too, and their testing at Sebring was well. We've got a couple other drivers that are moving around and moving up, but my goal is I want to win one of these go-karting championships again.
That's what you need for sure. I like that. Personally, I'm looking forward to one day getting a chance to interview for IndyCar Radio, interviewing the winner at the Indianapolis 500 and a kid that I've interviewed coming up through the karting ranks. That'll bring everything full circle for me.
Who's your best opportunity, Pat?
Oh man, there's a lot. Like let's be real. It could be Colton Herta, could be Pato Award, definitely with a shot at it for sure. Right. I'd love to see Oliver Askew get another shot coming back again. Hey, Charlie Kimball's always run really well at the Speedway too. So you never know who's going to be the guy that steps up to make it happen. Joseph Newgarden for sure can be one to get it done.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, you and David do a great job. I appreciate all the what you do for us. And
well, we appreciate it. When's the trailer roll?
I pull out at 5 a.m. on Tuesday morning.
There you go.
So we'll get in and set up on Wednesday and get the traveling circus all set up.
You got a good pit spot, or are you in the back 40?
No, we're in a good spot. Yeah, I found with our appearance, we tend to get pretty decent spots.
That's true.
I'm starting to learn that, but they do USPKS does a good job on that. It's really a pretty affordable way to go racing. Everyone gets so, thinking that all this stuff is hugely expensive, but they do a great job trying to curb the expenses of it. And, they let the teams make a little money on the tires, and that little bit helps for sure, but it's going to be a short turnaround with New Orleans.
That's it, right? Turn right back around. The week in the middle, right?
Yeah, so we come back home. Most teams go over there, but we got to come back home and get our shifter stuff and dump some carts off and check on the place, and then we'll head back down. We'll probably leave at 5 a.m. Tuesday before then.
That's it, right? Well, both of those races will be on the EKN Trackside Live program. David Cole, of course, will be down with Tim Coyan for the USPKS race. I'll be there with Alicia for our coverage from the NOLA race, the SCUSA Winter Nationals. Cole will be out in Sonoma that weekend, actually, for the Challenge of the Americas finale. So we'll all be pretty busy through the month of March, for sure.
Good. Yep. Yeah, and then we get back and open up.
That's it. And then you come right back and open up. Yep. And then, boom, all the way to October.
Yep.
Right. Hey, Shawn, thanks for joining me, buddy. I really appreciate it.
Yep. Thank you, Rob. Good luck this year, and we'll see you in New Orleans.
I appreciate that. Shawn Bayliff, folks, again, one of the good ones in our sport, no doubt about that. We've talked a lot about how this Trinity Karting Group program continues to develop. Then, of course, they got control of the racetrack along with their partner, and you just hear it in his voice, all the stuff that's happening, right? They just have so many more things that they want to do to make that bigger and better, and to get that USPKS race and to be one of the premier tracks on the East Coast. And knowing the way that Michelle and Shawn approach everything they do in business, I have no doubt that place is going to be absolutely one of the jewels in karting over the next 5 years. I can't wait to get up there myself. But again, watch for the Team Trinity Karting Group at the USPKS race. A bunch of badass drivers, Colin Neal, Luca Mars, Jace Park, all part of that program. Of course, both of the Bayliff brothers as well are going to be right there. Gavin and Finnegan, very quick. They'll be up front. So a good lineup of drivers. They're going to be at the USPKS race in the entire series. They're, of course, going to be running the SuperKarts USA Pro Tour as well, as Shawn had said. And then, of course, the Supernats at the end of the year. But everything based out of the hub there at the Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati, and talking about the Ignite program, their Pro-Am program, and having that, the actual rental karts in as part of the Pro-Am program, that'll develop more people, bringing more people into our sport. So everything they're doing is pushing the sport in the right direction. Man, always a pleasure to talk to Shawn. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that face-to-face. all our content, of course, on YouTube. Make sure to give us a like and follow. Subscribe to the channel. You know, every time we do it, this will, of course, be turned into a podcast for the ECAN Radio Network as well. We do appreciate you joining in, folks. My name is Rob Howden. Book it.